So today we will discuss about the next topic in pharmaceutical product development, that is pharmaceutical excipient. So in today's lecture we will discuss about these contents. Like we will first introduction of the excipients, then excipients, their ideal requirements, functions of the excipients, and types of the excipients. So first of all, we all are aware about what is the role of the excipient. So the pharmaceutical industry is ever thirsty to satisfy the patient therapeutical need and apart from active ingredient. So inactive excipients play a major role in formulation development. So these are the substance other than the pharmaceutical active drug or prodrug which are intended in the manufacturing or are contained in the finished pharmaceutical dosage form. So also we will discuss about some regarding the pharmaceutical excipient. It play a very important role in the manufacturing process. Okay, or we can say that important to keeping the drug from being released too early in the assessment process in the place where it damage tender tissue and create gastric irritation or stomach upset. So number of the different excipients are available in the available to use by the pharmaceutical industry to make a pharmaceutical formulation. So these excipients basically a drug product contain both drug substances like in the drug substance like commonly referred to as the active pharmaceutical ingredients or API, and other are the excipients. So the resultant biological, chemical and physical properties of the drug product are directly affected by the excipients chosen, their concentration and interaction with the API. So this is also very important, how to select the excipient and what is the role of that particular excipient in the desired formulation. So consistently of the drug release and bioavailability is the first point, and in case of stability, including protection from degradation and ease of administration. These are the some properties of that particular excipient used in the pharmaceutical industry. So excipients are subdivided into various functional classifications depending upon the role that they are intended to play in the resultant formulation. So certain excipients can have different functional role in different formulations type. Okay, so for example, lactose are widely used as an excipient, as a diluent, filler, or bulking agent in the tablet or capsules, and a carrier for a dry powder inhalation product. So, in addition, individual excipients can have different grade, type, and sources depending upon those different functional roles. So, according to their role, we are using different types of the excipients for making a final dosage form. If we concern about API, because if we are making any type of formulation or dosage form, two types of the main ingredients play an important role. First is the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or we can say that API, and second is excipient. And the API are classified into two types based on their solubility, like insoluble drugs or soluble drugs. If we concern about insoluble drugs, first, the therapeutic action of insoluble drugs depending upon the surface property of the drug particle, that is fine particle size and large particle size. So the insoluble drugs is the one parameter of the classification of the API. So the bioavailability of these drug in GI along with its optimum surface is affected by uh, three different factors. First is the formulation of the tablet. Formulation means what are the composition of the tablet, or composition of the whole tablet. Okay, so first point is that. And in case of second category, granulation method, or we can say the dry granulation or wet granulation, or third is the method of tap leading. And second category is the soluble drugs. In case of soluble drugs, the therapeutic action of soluble drugs is seen systematically, and the disintegration and dissolution time of such tablet depends upon the excipients used in the formulation. Solubility of the drug should be considered at or above the absorption site, that is upper GIT or the intestinal tract. And the physical and chemical property of the drug must be studied extensively before finalizing the tablet formula, so as to obtain better tablet characteristics. So in case of active pharmaceutical ingredient, therapeutic agent should not produce any toxic effect which it come in contact with other additives, should be accurate quantity or label claim, and should be detected by various method of analysis. So number of the examples of the APIs like paracetamol, aspirin, diclofenac, nimesulide, nifedipine, these are the some examples of the API used in the pharmaceutical formulations. So if we concerned about the excipient, so what are the ideal characteristics of the excipient? The excipient should be pharmacologically inert and must be free from contamination, and also it should be acceptable to regulatory agencies and meet the standards of the regulatory requirement. Okay, and all the excipients should be physiologically, chemically stable and stable for handling. And excipients should not show any interaction with the drug and other compositions, and also should not be interfere with the bioavailability of the drug, and should be cost effective and commercially available in the persist persist form. So these are the some ideal requirement of that particular excipient. If we concerned about the functions of the excipient, so the excipients play a very major role in the formulation development. So number of the functions of these excipients are like for providing essential manufacturing technology, functions like binder, glidant, lubricants may be added, and for enhancing patient acceptance like flavors, colorants may be added in the given formulations, and for providing aid in the product identification, colorants may be added, and for optimizing or modifying drug released we are adding disintegrating agents, hydrophilic polymers, wetting agents, biodegradable polymers may be added. And for enhancing the stability, we are also adding the antioxidants and UV absorbents may be added in the given formulations. So these are the some functions of the excipients used to make the desired formulations. If we concern about the types of the excipient, the number of the different types of the excipients are used to make the formulation better or effective, or that formulation is directly delivered to a specific site. So we are using different types of the excipient like filler, disintegrating agents, binder, lubricants, glidants, absorbents, flavors, coating, colorants, sweeteners, buffers, preservatives, coating agents, opacifiers, number of the excipients we are using. So we will discuss about all the excipients with their best example in case of the tablet and capsule manufacturing. If we concerned about the filler or diluent, so this filler and diluent, this act as filler used to make a bulk of the or bulk enhancer in the tablet and capsule, and to make required bulk or to add mass to the drug substance, so facilitating precise metering and handling in the prescription of the dosage form. So if we take an example, like if the active ingredient is just 5 mg, for example, if active ingredient is 5 mg, so in such case a tablet of just 5 mg is very difficult to manufacture and handle too. So thus The bulk content is increased by addition of inactive excipients must provide better tablet properties such as improved cohesion to permit the use of direct compression manufacturing or to promote flow. So these are the examples of that particular type of the fillers used in the tablet manufacturing if the tablet size or if the tablet API is very less in quantity. Okay, so if we concern about the properties of the diluent that used to make the bulkiness of that particular tablet, so it must be non-toxic in nature, commercially available in acceptable grade, low in cost, physiologically inert, physically and chemically stable by themselves and in combination with the drugs, and it is free from all microbial contaminations and should not alter the bioavailability of the drug color compatibilities. So these are the some properties of that diluent that we are using to make the formulation. If we concern about the commonly used tablet diluents, or we can say that examples of the diluents, so these diluents based on the chemical nature, solubility, organic organic diluents, inorganic diluents, water soluble diluents, and water insoluble diluents we are using. If we are taking the examples of the diluents that are used in the market like lactose, anhydrous, and spray dried lactose we are using. Also in direct we are using directly compressed starch, that is STA 1500. These are the company name that is used as a diluent. And also we are using microcrystalline cellulose, and these microcrystalline cellulose are available in the brand name of Avicel, and that Avicel is categorized into different grades like pH 101, 102, 103, 4, 111, 112. These are the examples of the microcrystalline cellulose. And next is the dicalcium phosphate dihydrate, calcium sulfate dihydrate, mannitol, sorbitol, sucrose, and cellulose derivatives. So these are the some common examples of the diluents used in the tablet manufacturing. So first excipient is filler and diluent. So maybe everybody is clear up to this slide. Okay. So next is the disintegrating agents or disintegrants that used in the manufacturing of tablets. So disintegrants are added to the formulation as it break the dosage form into smaller particles. When it come in contact with the liquid, these smaller fragments have greater surface area, which will increase the dissolution of the drug. So this is the application, or this is the property of that disintegrant. So various mechanism of the disintegrants are proposed by breaking into fragments. When the tablet come in contact with the liquid penetrate into the pores of the tablets and break into fragment. To improve the water uptake into the pores, certain hydrophilic polymers are added to the formulation. And second is the by swelling method. So when the tablet come in contact with water, it swell and rupture the tablet into the smaller pieces. For example, in the disintegrants are starch derivatives, clay, cellulose, alginates, povidone, PVP, cross-carbinolose sodium, CMC. Basically, the starch is used for in the concentration of 5 to 20% of the tablet weight, and the modified starch are also used, which like Primogel, Explotab. These are used in low concentration like 1 to 8%. Pre-gelatinized starch is also employed in the formulation with 5% concentration. Clay like V-gum, HV, and bentonite are used in 10% level. Polymers like linked PVP, CMC also used as a disintegrants. So these are the number of the examples of the disintegrating agents are used in the tablet that disintegrate the tablet into smaller particles when we are taking these tablets orally. And also some super disintegrating agents are used currently in the pharmaceutical industry. As the day passes, the demand for faster disintegrating formulations is increased. So pharmacists need to formulate disintegrants, that is super disintegrants, which are effective at low concentration and have greater disintegrating efficiency. And they are more effective. But they have one drawback, that is they are hygroscopic in nature. Therefore, they not used for moisture sensitive drugs. And these super disintegrants act by swelling, and due to swelling pressure exert into the outer direction or radial direction, it causes tablet to burst or the accelerated absorption of the water, leading to an emergence increase in the volume of granules to promote disintegration. So number of the different examples of the super disintegratings are like cross carmylose, primulose, solutab, vivosol cross linked cellulose. These swell 4 to 8 fold in less than 10 seconds. Water insoluble and spongy in nature, so get porous tablet, sodium starch glycolate, Explotab, Primogel, cross-linked starch, swell 7 to 12 fold in less than 30 seconds. Swells in three-dimensional and high level serve as sustained release metrics. Alginic acid, cross-linked alginic acid, rapid swelling in aqueous medium or working action promotes disintegration in both dry or wet granulation. So these are the very commonly used examples of super disintegrating agents used by pharmaceutical industry. Next is category is our binders. These binders, or also we are using says that adhesives. So these binders are the substance basically that hold the ingredient together and ensure the tablet and granules formulate with required mechanical strength. So they also give volume to low active dosage drug. Ensure that granules that tablet can perform formed within the required mechanical strength, and they are added into the tablet and capsule either in dry form or in solution form. So as in dry powder, which is mixed with other ingredients before compaction, that is slugging or tableting, it is called as dry binders. Natural binders like acacia and tragacanth are used in solutions formed in the concentration of 10 to 25% alone or in the combination for wet granulation, and they can be added to the powder for the direct compression process. So these are the examples of the binder. If we concern about the examples regarding the binder, like we are using starch paste, and the concentration of that starch paste is 5 to 25%. And if we concern about gelatin solution, that is 10 to 20%. And in case of tragacanth, that is we are using 10 to 25%, glucose syrup 50%, cellulose derivatives 2%. So in these, gelatin is used along with acacia, along this form of better binding agent than the above two natural polymers. So polymer like methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose are used as a dry powder in case of direct compaction. They act as a good binding agent in the solution form. They act as a good addition. Ethyl cellulose and hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose can be used in alcoholic solution. They act as an anhydrous adhesive. So next part of our excipient is the lubricants. So these lubricants are used to reduce the friction between the tablet and the dye cavity. When the tablet dye cavity is getting ejected from the dye, lack of lubricants can lead to problem. Which type of problems? Like capping, scratch of the side of the tablets, fragmentation of the tablets, shape or shape out or shape of the tablet. Thus, to avoid this, lubricants are very essential to add in the formulation. Otherwise, these problems are arises in the tablet formulation. For a lubricant, the time of addition, concentration of the lubricant in which it is to be added, and the combination are very important parameter. If we increase or decrease the concentration of the lubricant, the problem is also arises in the final formulation, and it may be the bioavailability of the drug, or it may be the disintegration of the drug. Number of the problems are arises if we are not added a specific amount of the lubricants in the given formulation. So if we concern about the concentration part, so as most of the lubricants are hydrophobic in nature, so thus an increased concentration of the lubricants would lead to the problem like poor wettability and dissolution and disintegration problem. So for this reason, the addition of the concentration is less than 1% of the lubricant in the given formulation. So this is the optimized concentration, that is less than 1% we are added in the given formulation. So the time of the mixing, which time we are adding these lubricant in our formulation. So it is also very important, as over mixing may lead to reduction in the tablet dissolution and disintegration. So combination, if the lubrication is mixed with the disintegrants, it will lead to formation of a film of a lubricant on the tablet surface, and which will reduce the disintegration. If we concern about the examples of the lubricants like stearic acid salts, stearic acid derivatives, talc, polyethylene glycol, surfactants, wax, calcium stearate, magnesium stearate, their concentration is 0.25 to 0.5% are most commonly used lubricants, followed by talc. So higher molecular weight, polyethylene glycol and certain polymeric surfactants are used as a water-soluble lubricants. Also, liquid paraffin, propylene glycols, silica derivatives like colloidal silicon, such as COB, O-Sila, we are also use as a lubricant. And PEG 6000 is very less effective lubricant, but we are also using as a lubricating agent, and it acts as a water soluble lubricant. So these are the excipient category, that is lubricant added in the formulation to lubricate the tablet. Next category is the glidant. So in case of glidants, basically these are used to improve the flow property of the formulation. It reduces the friction between the particle and between the hopper and the particle and the dye cavity. Actually, glidant, lubricant and anti-adherent have a close relation to each other. They have some function in common. Most of the glidants used as a hydrophobic, thus they are to be carefully added, that is concentration regulated. Examples of the glidants are talc, colloidal silicon dioxide, cornstarch. Glidants should be small in size so that they can retain within the small pores of the granules that have a greater surface area. The concentration of the talc is 1 to 2%. Colloidal silicon dioxide we are using less than 0.2%. Cornstarch we are using 5 to 10% to make the formulation. Next category is the anti-adherents. So these are the substance basically that prevent sticking or adhesion of the tablet surface to the dye wall or punches faces. So in case of encapsulation, prevent sticking to machine dossiers, tamping pins, dye walls and the punches. This is the main role of the anti-adherent. If we concern about the examples of the anti-adherent, everybody write down the examples of the anti-adherent. That is the water-soluble lubricants like magnesium stearate, stearic acid and its derivative. Talc and starch used as an anti-adherent. Next is the adsorbents. And these are the agents that can retain large quantity of liquids and can soak up oil from the water. Therefore, liquids such as vitamin E, essential oil, eutectic and other hygroscopic agents can be incorporated into the tablet by the addition of the adsorbent. Okay, so everybody write down the examples of the drugs or the formulations or API we are using adsorbents to make the formulation. And some common examples like anhydrous calcium phosphate, starch, aerosol like silicon dioxide. If we concern about the flavor, so in case of flavor, basically these flavors are used to mask the unpleasant taste or also to improve the taste of the chewable tablet as well as the mouth dissolving tablets. Okay, so these to increase the patient compliance, we are adding the flavoring agent. So flavoring agents are thermolabile and so cannot be added prior to the operation if the operations involving any type of heat. The examples of flavoring agents are citric acid, glycerol, orange oil, menthol, vanilla. And if we concern about the colorants, so other excipients like colorants or sweeteners or buffers or preservatives we are also using. So you can also write the examples of the sweeteners like natural sweeteners such as menthol, lactose, sucrose and dextrose we are using. In case of artificial sweeteners, we are using saccharin and aspartame. And in case of preservative, the examples like parabens like methyl parabene, propyl parabene, butyl parabene, or butylated para-hydroxybenzoate we are using as a preservative agent. And some examples of the antioxidants are ascorbic acids and their derivatives, citric acid, tartaric acids, and sodium bisulfate. So these are the examples of the different types of the excipient used in the tablet or capsule manufacturing. So excipients are very major role in making the pharmaceutical formulation. Without excipient, we are not